Hello and welcome to a video with me, Raindale. Today I want to show you another couple of my matches from the class match. And the main reason for that is, in my previous video, I was trying to figure out the team and things weren't always going smoothly. But I think I've mastered the way this team is supposed to play out. I've had a lot of good pointers by the live PvP community that came in and gave me recommendations, especially Zenith, if you listen to this, thank you. Changing the passive on Nivlu really changed things around for me, so that was really good. And so now I'm on an 18 game win streak, and I feel like showing you some of those matches will probably, if you've watched the other video, will help you show just how much practicing can help you get better, not just changing teammates or having stronger units. Really executing the game plan well makes a ton of difference. So that's the goal today. So let's quickly take a look at the team, and then we'll go into some matches. Okay, so here's our team. It didn't change much since the last video, but if you're just tuning in for this one, I'll quickly go over it. So we have to be. We're not in a dedicated evasion setup, but we still have a decent amount of evasion with the Sage's hat and then her vision card and Blade Soul. So most enemies cannot hit her reliably, and then she has very high damage. So that's mainly what she's there for. We have then Xiza with the movement up and jump up TMR from Ketone. And this way, in the first turn, she'll just rush to the enemy team and try to charm or kill a critical member of the enemy team. Usually disrupting their game plan, so that's what her presence here is all about. And then finally we have Nivlu, and we've made an important change since last time. She now has the Speedcast passive, and that really changes the game around because it allows us to execute our plan faster and quite often before the enemy team does. So that's very important. But if our game plan doesn't work, she can also in a pitch use Defense Down, Barrier Break, Dispel. She has a lot of other utility. And then usually what we want to do is have Xiza take a double turn first, and then on the second turn that Nivlu has, she'll give a double turn to B. So that's the way we're set up here. Alright, so just like last time, we'll run matches at 1.5 times speed so we can cover more in a limited time. And I think you don't need more time of me commenting to understand what's going on. So in this team, we're fighting Winter Viktora, Tidus, and Phoebe. What they want to do is use Tidus to haste everybody, and then use Phoebe to quicken their team. So our plan is to kill or charm whoever is going to be quickened. That's really important. So we begin with Nivlu beginning to cast Quicken on Xiza, and then if you can see, between Xiza's turn and her Quicken, only Phoebe will be playing. So we know that Tidus and Winter Viktora will not move in between Xiza's two turns. So that's really important. Wherever they finish their, whatever they are right now, basically, is where they'll be when we go. So Phoebe begins advancing in a position where Nivlu can reach her next turn, so we can get another Quicken if necessary. And then we're ready to send Xiza in. And at that point, see, they're staying in position. So I am not sure who the enemy Phoebe will be quickening. But between the other members that the enemy team has, I know that the next one to play is Winter Viktora. So if I want to go for a charm, she's really the best target. Otherwise, if I would charm Tidus, well, he might just get a basic attack from Winter Viktora breaking the charm, and that will mean my charm wasn't worth it, so I might as well go for the kill there. So now I can obviously reach the enemy team, and I take a look. 89% chance to charm Winter Viktora. Who's the next person to go? Fun fact, if I were to charm Phoebe, it would also interrupt her casting, so that's something you can take into account. But in this occasion, we are charming Winter Viktora, and that's also the person receiving the Quicken, so perfect. We're in a good spot here. So she kills Phoebe, and at that point, the match is pretty much over for them. Like, they can kill Xiza, sure, but they're left with a charmed Winter Viktora and then only Tidus to fight our team. So it was really important there to charm the next person to act. If I had done so on Tidus, it would not have amounted to much. So at that point, we're just rushing forward with Phoebe since she can. And then Yeah, we're just going to be slowly cleaning them up. I've taken out the range up on Nivlu for this first match, and later on I'll put Concentrate back on, because obviously this match taught me that it was a weakness to have it removed. But it was my first match after changing my passive, so I still had to figure out which one I should remove. So at that point, the match is basically over. We'll deal some damage to her, and then clean it up. So yeah, I'll just let you see that last attack, and then we'll move on to a much more difficult match, I'll say. Okay, this time we're fighting a team with the Keenblade Ildyra combo, and if you've seen Luck D and Dr. Diggs have both released videos about this strategy, so it's a little bit more known now, but it's an extremely threatening strategy, and I guess what you'll see here in this battle is just how strong it is. But since I did mention I was on a 18-game win streak, you can probably guess what the ending is going to be. And I think there's one somewhat critical weakness in this specific enemy team, and it's the fact that they cannot deal well with evasion. So their initial plan works perfectly, right? They get their multiple turns on everybody, they're going to be able to use AoE attacks on our entire team, but they will struggle with hitting to B, and I think their team, the way it's designed, just has that weakness. So we're very lucky of that, because otherwise, really, I don't see how else I could turn things around. Had to be taken this hit, she would be on the verge of death, and then the enemy Xiza could have probably cleaned her up. But as it stands, the enemy Xiza can only really reliably kill our Xiza with her incredibly high damage debilitating fist. So here we go. Now, there's also the fact that their Ildyra cannot cross the fight, cannot cross the middle. So if she wants to join the fight, they could either move back with their units or try to get Ildyra here, but that's going to be really long. So at that point, I have the choice of who I want to kill, and I can tell that with his counter ability, Sterne has a 50% chance to hit me. That does mean I was pretty lucky that he missed me on the previous attack, so I'll take him out immediately to make sure that doesn't happen. Also, I know Xiza's out of AP, so she can go into my back and basic attack me, but that won't kill me, and then she'll be in range for me to retaliate. So that's my thought process here. I probably should have faced my back to the wall though, so that I can only take a side attack. But at that point, their Xiza decides to run away. I think it's a rather wise decision to do that. Also notice, in my previous turn, I picked up the crystal because I did not have a turn to buff. I had no way of generating AP, so it was a must getting this crystal. So at that point, I decided to go and kill Ildyra. The main reason for that is, as long as they have 2 units, if ever the timer runs out, they win. So he made the decision to get Ildyra closer to my team. I'm gonna kill her when I have the chance. Otherwise, he might just go in the corner and wait for turns to end while running around with his Xiza as well, and I don't want that to happen. So he's kind of hesitating, not sure how to reach me. I know Debilitating Fist has a 3-square range, so as long as I stay within 9 squares of Xiza, he can't use that very powerful ability on me. So what I'm going to do is use Armor Deployment and stay within 9 squares. This means I'll be in range of Snipe Dagger. But he doesn't have Snipe Dagger, he's a Monk subjob, so I'm not sure if Monk has a 4-square range ability, but I don't think so. And even if it does, it won't be the almighty Debilitating Fist. So he goes ahead and uses Store, perfect, and at that point he's within my range. I noticed that I can't kill him with any of my abilities unless I crit, see 10 HP remaining, so my decision will be to use Impaler Plus, again to reduce his incoming damage. So we reduce strike attack, but we do end up critting and thus winning this fight. Next comes a match against General Lee, and it was my closest match out of my win streak right now. I think I was lucky to win it in some way, but also he was lucky in some other way. So it's a very interesting one, and a longer fight as well. So again, we're going at a faster rate so that it doesn't take too long. But they're running a missile team with Frederica and Winter Viktora. And then they also have just generally a lot of damage using the vision cards they have, and Tidus for a haste on everyone. So their team is going to take more turns than ours, and I think at that point our best shot at winning is using the double turn on Xiza. So that's really what we're going for here. And again, we're looking at the turn order after Xiza acts to see what we want to do. So they use aimed fire, going for a buff, and then they move into a position for Tidus to be able to haste everybody, which makes sense. Or so I think. If I remember correctly, that's how the battles went. So Tidus is going to start casting his haste ga, and then I think Winter Viktora will move in position to receive that haste. So overall, it's a pretty solid plan, and then they're also moving back, so I'm forced to really commit. And then, yes, Xiza can reach quickly, but it will be tough for Tobi to reach the enemy team afterwards. Fortunately, my setup can quicken Tobi rather fast, but still, that's the thing. So, Fleet of Foot on Xiza. In her first turn, she reaches the crystal. That's why she's in this specific starting position. And then we get the quicken. Here, I know that Tidus will finish casting, and then it's going to be Frederica's turn. So I could kill Frederica, risking a reflex, or I could hit Tidus and possibly not kill him. Now I'm thinking 81% chance is not a lot, but then again, she would have a 15% reflex chance. And I miss the charm. Now that's tragic, because otherwise what would happen is Frederica would take her turn, and then use Barrage on her two teammates. And then she's a lightning type on water guys. It would have been a mess, and the match would have been ours. Instead, we end up with, we lose a third of our members for no benefit at all to our team. And at that point, the battle is looking pretty grim. The only thing that I have that's going for me is that they're not running any accuracy vision card. They don't have Suteki Dane on Tidus, and they also don't have the other water card that increases accuracy. But I made a mistake in my positioning here, and because of the way I positioned Tobi, I can't quicken. That's something I've learned in that match, and I won't make that mistake again in future matches. But because I've put Tobi in a position where she's too high, Quicken cannot reach her. It only has a height range of 1. So that positioning here was a mistake for me. So instead, I'll just use Haste on Nivlu so that I can get another Quicken later on. And there, my biggest threat on the enemy team is now Frederica. She's the only one of their members with the Sharpshoot ability, and when she uses it for the first time, I'm very lucky, and I get Perfect Evade. Pretty sure that attack would not have killed me. Tobi is still pretty tanky, so I think it would have done 2/3 of my HP. But since I can't heal, that would mean that any lucky hit from one of his characters would then kill me. So here we go. He's grouping a couple of his characters. And then using Inherited Tyranny, I'm not that scared of Inherited Tyranny because as long as he, again, doesn't boost his accuracy, it's no big threat. And at that point I'm wondering, should I attack or should I quicken? And I decide to go for the quicken because I want to be in front of their team. If I don't quicken, she'll have trouble reaching them altogether, and that would be very bad. So we'll then use Resistance Field to go over the map. This is a great movement ability. Not only do you get a really nice buff, but you also get a lot of movement. So that's what we do. Hey, I thought I was quickening her. I guess I'm not. So sorry about that. Wrong information. So here we go. We are in front of the enemy team, and again, the only one that can really hit me is Frederica, but she's out of AP right now. She has not had the chance to pick up a crystal because we rushed to their team. I think if we had not rushed to them, it would have been a lot tougher. I still don't know what TMR Frederica has, but it's probably Bells, and if we give her too much time, she's just going to use that and put us into a disadvantageous position. Now I remember, I decided to haste to be instead because all the enemy teams was hasted and I wanted to be able to move as fast as they would. So that's why I did not quicken this time. At that point I'm wondering who I should kill because he did a good job of splitting his members and there's no way for me to hit more than one at a time. So I consider my options for a little bit too long and I end up panicking, realizing I only have 3 seconds left to hit their Frederica. So I just rushed to this position and hit her. Again, a really panic attack. If I had planned my stuff a bit better, I would have moved closer to the rest of the enemy team, because now it's easy for them to get away from me and stall for turns. Again, if they have 2 people alive when the timer ends and I have 1, they win. Even if the fight had infinite turns, I would eventually win. So at that point, I'm going back to them and I'm thinking I really need to catch them and kill them before the timer runs out. And it might seem like there's a lot of turns left, right? 23, but this timer goes down very, very quickly. And if you're not careful, it will mean a defeat in quite a few scenarios, really. So at that point, he knows he doesn't have a reliable way of hitting me. I did speak with him a little bit afterwards, and from my understanding, it was between, if he could get a side hit, his hit chance was about 20%, 25%, and then if he was hitting from the front, it was around 12%. So that's the main reason he just did not decide to go for attacks, and instead try to just stall the match. So at that point, they have the ability to haste again, which is a great decision because it means that they'll take more turns and thus use the remaining actions more quickly. Also, with the way they've positioned, I am unable to hit both units because of the height difference. So I decide to target Tidus because he's the only guy I can hit, mainly. So that's what happens there. He hastes them both again, and at that point, you can guess how the rest of the fight will go. I will try to chase them and kill them, and they'll try to get away from me as much as they can. And I'm making sure they don't have extra accuracy, and indeed, they do not. So he grabs the crystal, probably so that I don't, and uses Sentinel again. This really is an important thing, because if he doesn't use Sentinel, I can possibly, if I crit, take out one of their guys in 1 turn. And that's a scenario they definitely want to avoid. So now, because of Tobi's jump, I'm able to follow Tidus and kill him, and then I make a decision to face the side so that his Winter Viktora moves downward, because I think it's going to be easier to chase her if she moves downward than if she's running along the middle wall. So that's what I do. He uses the angle that gives him the best hit chance by hitting me from the side, but misses both hits. I guess that's another place where I'm lucky in this match. I got 1 perfect evade, dodging Frederica's attack, and then I dodged this one, and this one. But I also missed my 81% charm in the beginning, which is why we're in this situation altogether. So I guess it's an even trade in terms of luck. So there are, 2 actions left. If I had not rushed to their team as fast as I could, I would lose here, because he would have had more time to run away, split his units, and I would have been unable to kill them both, or at least deal damage to the 2 of them. So another lucky dodge on my end, and we do end up winning. So that was it, guys. Hopefully you found it interesting. I love explaining the train of thought behind my decisions. Obviously, I make some mistakes, and that's generally when I lose matches. It's most of that in live PvP. The first player that makes a positioning mistake or a timing mistake will lose. Otherwise, the fastest team to execute their game plan usually takes the win. So if you've stuck with me till the end, thank you so much. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And then thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.